Okay, folks, this is it. Until the lions have their own historians, the tales of hunting would always glorify the hunter. I'll say that again. Okay, folks, I said until the lions have their own historians, the tales of hunting would always glorify the hunter. Hello and welcome to the most opinionated hour on radio and the nation's thought-provoking hour. My name is Nana Ansakwa IV, Chief of the Little Republic of Akwemu Edumasa. For today's show, let me say President of the Little Republic of Akwemu Edumasa. Welcome to another edition of That's My Opinion, and it's a Monday, and I have an opinion to share as usual. It's a Monday, and I definitely have an opinion to share, and it's a big one, folks. And I really want to be frank today, and so I wish we had more time so we can really get a good range of opinions on this particular topic. Now, will I be a good president? That's the topic. Will I be a good president? Now, I think today is a question that we should all be asking ourselves, particularly the frustrated Ghanaians amongst us. Ask yourself, would I be a good president? Folks, for over 5 years, once a week, I've had the opportunity, an hour to come and share with you an opinion, and it could be on anything. It could be on anything. And we have talked about many things. We have pushed the bar sometimes to the very, very edge. Sensitive subjects that most will shy away from, we come here and deal with it brutally. We will deal with it brutally. But folks, we have a culture of hypocrisy in Ghana. And it's no new to anybody. And it's like a default attitude that we fall on when we are guilty. As soon as we're guilty on something, we just quickly fall back on this big hypocrisy thing and act as if we don't even know what's going on. Folks, for this 30 minutes, 1 hour that we'll have, we will need that default button. Let's just take it as it is. Because of the nature of the show, where I seem to have an opinion on things, lambasting those who get it wrong, including myself, mind you, including the chieftaincy fraternity, whoever gets it wrong, we put them on the board and choose our words carefully, but we lambast. Also, we're pushing a pro-African agenda, subtly pushing a pro-African agenda. You get a few who will say, why don't you run for political office? Others will say, you are the type we need in leadership in Ghana. And by that, they're talking about political leadership. But the most striking is this gentleman who has asked me twice on the show. Sorry, Mr. Gentleman, I don't have your name. Twice on the show. Nana, if you were president, could you change anything? Nana, will you be a good president? Well, my answer to him was no. The system will consume me. Folks, I have been chief for nearly 8 years of the Little Republic of Edumasa, famous Edumasa that everybody knows now. Now, the first time I ever went there was October 2010. By January 2011, I was the chief of the town. I'd grown up all my life didn't know that I came from Edumasa. Folks, I'd grown up all my life, did not even know that I came from that town. But thanks to Colonel Ofosuapia, my very, very good uncle, who still got my back, Here it was, this very dry town, folks, that no one had heard of. Edumasa, if I tell somebody I was going to be chief of Edumasa, you'd have to give them the GPR coordinates and GPS coordinates and everything just to find out what we were talking about. Most people who were from the town had deserted it. Those who had made, any sort of, made any good thing about their lives, they didn't even want to know anything about it. So here I was with those who even knew the town did not want it. Edumasa was dying. And me, a visitor, a stranger, the newbies in town, yet I was the leader, custodian of what was left of it. And to add to my troubles, the stool had been vacant for like 10 years, so the folks had their way for 10 years doing whatever it is they want to do. They were not used to structures and discipline and order. Now, some of the royals, folks, who were even from there and grew up there and went to school there, I am told, before I got selected, when they were chosen, they literally ran away. There was no gold. The town had no name, no fame, no glory. There was nothing to it. There was no quick money to be made. Folks, there was little order in the town. Education was low, no potable water. There was no palace for even the chief to stay at. So I set out to create the little republic of Edumasa. Improved education. Ohinire set up a fabulous library from a derelict structure that I gave her. She transformed it into, one of the best, most colorful libraries that you can ever see. Well-stocked library. We adopted Jollyphonics method of teaching, which means we had to seek permission from GES and retrain all my teachers, at my expense, of course, to the Jollyphonics methods of teaching. This improved teaching literacy from 39 to 89%. You didn't hear me. This improved literacy from 39 to 89%. So from being bottom of the league within the area, we were tops. I got an architect to come and look at what was supposed to be the palace so he can redesign it and bring it into modern age, if I may say. Today, we have one of the nicest palaces compared to many palaces all over, not just Akwamu, but all over. Palaces, palace that we can be proud of, legacy that can be left for generations. And, folks, hear me out, our palace has a wheelchair ramp. And for the record, Edumasa Palace had a wheelchair ramp before the Standpoint Studio. I had to sneak that in. We had a wheelchair ramp before the Standpoint Studio had a ramp. Now that finish if I get home. That is a fact. So folks, we worked with the district council, professional town planners, so the town of Edumasa is well planned. Well planned with professional layouts. Places that to be of worship, education, mini industrial area, everything has been laid out. Roads, everything. And we have started demarcating the roads. We have planted nearly 1,000 canopy trees all along the sides of the road. So in the future, it's going to be all green and, you'll be literally driving under the canopy of trees. And we will follow the plan. So far as I'm alive, we will stick to it. We now have 2 portable water stations in the town. There's a mandatory library hour for all students who literally come to school in Edumasa. There's a 7 p.m. curfew for pupils. Can't be loitering after 7 p.m. Otherwise, your parent will be fined. And we are building one of the most modern primary school maybe in Ghana. Very slow, but, we are at it. We will get there. God knows that we will get there. There's a no tree cutting policy. Absolutely no tree cutting policy. Which, you dare not drop a tree there because the consequences are grave. And a host of other laws. And my God, it's come with some very, very tough decisions that as a leader you have to take. But I give thanks and credit to all my team of other chiefs and elders and the Queen Mother who work with me. Even though I know behind my back the whinge that I overrate this town too much, but you know what? They bear with me and they work with me, whether I overrate it or not. They all share in the glory of the republic that is coming. Now to the question, would I be a good president? Now, you know my track record, as being a little chief. Some of my track record. So now to the question, would I be a good president? Folks, after buying and paying for good governance, will I be a good president? After buying and paying for good governance, will I be a good president? Folks, it will start. And the first thing is getting the party executives that I want basically to win their position in the executive places. Now, this is how the campaign works. 1, you have to be a known party person. 2, you need lots of money. And 3, you need to know lots of people who have lots and lots of money. These are the 3 main things that you need. Forget about your message, your plan, your patriotism, or your honesty, or forget it, Joe. Are you a party person? Number 1, do you have money? If not, do you have access? Even if you have, you still need access to people who have lots of it. So the guy who wants to be president should help with money to make sure that his people get into executive positions within the party. Now, the delegates who vote, for you are scattered all over the country in remote areas that when you're sitting in Accra, you never even knew existed. Some of the most appalling roads that you've seen or heard of. These people will trek on it, get stuck, cars get breaking down, shaft broken, gearbox falling off all across the country. Now, the candidates will travel the length of breath, and at each meeting of these delegates, they will have to part with money. Now remember, you can be Nkrumah resurrected. If you don't pay, no vote. You may be loved, they love you till thy kingdom come. Yet, if you don't pay, forget it. So if your people get in there after paying, and you helping them pay in their campaign, then you as the leader will start yours. Now here we are talking serious money. And plenty of it. Direct ones towards your elections, as in T-shirts and caps and cars. And indirect ones like funerals, school fees, hospital bills, church harvest. Not to talk about a fleet of cars that has to follow you all the time. Fuel for the cars, breakdown, services. The team you are going with, they are not fasting and praying. They are eating 3 meals a day. Accommodation. And as I speak now, folks, it has started. And we have 2 years before the main elections. It has started and we have 2 years before the main elections. Now, after you secure the number 1 spot and become the flag bearer, now, this time you may need a money printing machine. And if you don't have one, then it's whoever will give you, from local to international. And we're talking millions and millions of dollars. Folks, you will be compromised till thy kingdom come. You will be compromised till thy kingdom come. By the time power is handed to you, you can't think of anything but to pay back those who gambled when there was no certainty that you were even going to win. When power, folks, if you are lucky, and come 7 January, they hand over you that staff and you sit on that stool in that parliament. Your thoughts can't be Ghana. How can you think of Ghana? Your talks is, how do I pay back? How do I pay back those who gambled their millions? And the payment is not just collecting cash from the vault and handing over to them. No. But folks, we also know that power is corrupt and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Well, we have a bigger problem. We don't only give absolute power. Folks, we give imperial powers. So when we get it wrong, it's stratospheric. Folks, it's stratospheric when we get it wrong. And as I said, payment is in many methods. You make my son a minister, award me a contract, make time to see my investors, and when they come, drop in a line or two that you're behind me, agree to this deal, agree to that deal. It's not fair, but it's very legal. Oh yes, it's not fair. It's absolute nonsense, but no court can try you with everything above board. Don't ban certain products that we are importing. Don't stop the importation of some bad stuff that we are bringing to the country. And the list, folks, is endless. The list is endless. The list is endless. And the immediate thing that you can do for Ghana are the things which will catch the eye of the people so you win a second term. Those are the things that you can do. You can't start thinking about mindset and bringing back culture. Jojo, forget about that. Rush for the street lights and the KVIPs and the schools and the roofing sheets, the things that we see. Folks, sometimes, you just come up with a job and get people in there and find some money somewhere, even pay them. It's not even actually a job. It's just money somewhere that you're doling out on a monthly basis. So you can win your second term. Because after 8 years, people realize that, hold on, it's the same thing different. And then they vote you out. Only to realize that, look, it's the same borrowing, the same fall of the cedi, the same hike in fuel prices, the same importation of rice and sugar, the same extraction of metals from our soil with no account, and the distraction of natural resources, plus the same we can't revive old factories, and the same we buy government assets. The same thing. So folks, it's not that we don't have good leaders or good men, but under the circumstances, folks, this is as good as it gets. I mean, after the creation of the regions, we'll be heading for 140 ministers. I mean, do you think it's for sure that there are so many ministers? Do you think they are just models? Come on. It is the system with which you elect your leader. Imani says we can do with 60. Achampong had 10 commissioners. He managed. The question is, who do you remove? Who do you pay back? Folks, there is even a deputy minister for deputy Eastern Regional Minister. Look, there's a deputy Eastern Regional Minister. Now, I just chanced on a WhatsApp video where the police were broadcasting, showing that they were stopping cars for using sirens, and they stopped this V8 and it was using a siren, and they asked who's in there, and they said it was a deputy minister for Eastern Region. And I was thinking, what's his role? What does he do? I mean, what, just in case the minister gets sick? What does the deputy minister for Eastern Region do in case the minister gets sick? There are DCs and all these other, functionaries operating within the region, but there's still a deputy. Folks, the pressure and culture and system we have created, the route with which you have to go through to attain power, even the holiest of the holy will fall. Folks, at which point will you start good governance? When you are out there collecting millions to do your campaign, or when you eventually win power? At which point would you start practicing good governance, folks? When you are out there collecting money left, right, and center, or when you win power and you're now going to rule, is that when you're going to start practicing good governance? Folks, and then there's a constitution that was written like somebody's personal ambition. The country's constitution is like somebody's personal ambition, folks. It's like a constitution you write when you build a house, a nice big house. And it says, I will hire the watchman, I will hire the houseboy, I will hire the house girl, I will take 2 drivers. I mean, it's one of those things that you do when you're 6 years old, when you're just saying, and I'll have a big cake, and I'll do this, and I'll have that. And literally, that's what a constitution does. It gives imperial powers. Imperial powers to somebody who is compromised and has begged and has been receiving favors all their life to become president and now been given imperial powers. And we want good governance. Folks, this is as good as it gets under the circumstances. Under the circumstances, this is as good as it gets. Now, I mean, I know DCs who, after being appointed by the president to go to wherever it is, folks, there are probably 25, 35, 15, 16, God number of assemblymen who have to vote. And this man has to find maybe 2,000 cedis each or 2,500 cedis each to give to every assemblyman to make sure he gets the vote. And then you look at the background on the DCE, and this guy doesn't come from a gold mine or a printing press or anything. You look at his background and you're thinking, Mr. Man, where did you get all this money from? But we still want good governance from this DCE after we have collected the money. So, folks, under these same circumstances, I can't do much. But I must say, I'm not doing bad at all as a chief. Now talk to me. Let me find out if you will be a good president. So it's 0302-216-541. 0302-216-541. Will you be a good president? Are you Father Christmas? And those WhatsApp is 0244-340-437. 0244-340-437. Send me your WhatsApp. Okay, who's going to be my first caller? Let's see if they're going to be.
My name is Charles. Nana, I think you have said it all. We have to publish a book on this so that we know that we are moving in circles and we have to change things. Otherwise, we're wasting our time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There's another honest one there. 0302216541. Hello, who's talking to me?
Hello, Nana. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, I'm really enjoying your program. This is my first time calling.
Thank you very much.
I wouldn't be a good president. Like you rightly said. You know what? There are lots of people you need to look at. There are lots of people you need to settle. There are a whole lot of people. You get me? And so you are there. You are supposed to deliver your mandate, and in doing so, you would have to, go a long way to kind of step on toes. People are very rot. There are so many rotten people in the system. And these are the same people who helped you out there. You get it? That is why we have these vigilante groups and all that. They are the same people who helped you into coming into power. You get me? And now can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
These are the same people you are supposed to kind of, cater for. These are the same people you would have to correct. And some of these things that they do, you will not be able to talk about it. You get it? You have your families, you have your classmates, a whole lot of people. And so you sit back and you're like, are you sure you can really do the work if you've been given the mandate, just like you said? Of course not. And I wonder how many Ghanaians can boast that they would be very good president. I think the earlier, we look at our situation, the better for us all. And I think it shall be well with us. Thank you very much, Nana.
Thank you very much, too. That was another honest caller there. Stephen is in Accra. Hello, Stephen.
Hi, Nana. Good evening.
Stephen, will you be a good president?
It's a very big question.
Yes.
But honestly, I think what we have to do is to decide that how do we want the future to look like? Mm-hmm. If we are able to define the kind of future we want, then we can all say, okay, this is how we're going to achieve it, and be willing to sacrifice. I think as a country, we need to be intentional about what we want to create for ourselves. We need to be intentional about how we want Ghana to look like in the next 20 years, 30 years. Without defining this, it will be very difficult for anybody to say, I can't be a good president, or I can be a president who can bring change that is required. Thank you, Nana.
Thank you very much too. 0302 216 541. Odeshia Heda is in Latebio Koshi. Hello.
Hi, Nana.
Hi. Odeshia, is it Hilda?
Yes, please.
Oh, okay. Odeshia Hilda, let me hear you.
Okay, thank you so much for your program.
Thank you.
Yeah, I always miss it, but today I said, no, I have to listen to Nana before I go to bed.
Thank you.
Yes, Nana, also Africa or Ghana gets roll out religion and corruption. I don't think Africa will ever go forward. Hello?
I'm listening, Hilda. I'm waiting for you to land. Oops, sorry, Hilda. I think your line got dropped there. But Joe is in Takrady. Let me speak to Joe. Hello, Joe.
Hello.
Yes, Joe.
Good evening, Nana.
Let me hear you.
Good evening, Nana.
Good evening, Joe.
Yes, I like the program.
Thank you.
But I'm thinking that, we have to be principled.
Yeah.
We have to be principled. You were able to do it at your end there. Yes, it's a small community. You'll be able to do it. Okay? If we are being principled, and we are children of God, so we have to be principled and do the right thing. And by doing so, we can let this country progress.
But at which point?
Malaysia have done it. China is doing it. Why can't we do it?
But at which point are you going to be principled? When you are working, begging for money, or after you won power? Because without money, they won't vote for you. I mean, it's a fact.
Yes.
I don't even know. It's not even a secret. Just say idea daho. It's not even a secret. Like I'll say it's an open secret. I mean, it is an open fact. If you're going to meet delegates, have your envelopes ready. 600 delegates.
That is true.
Yeah.
But I think when you win the power, you come on. And you are being principled. When you lose for the second time. Just to be principled. And when you lose because you are being principled. That is it.
Thank you very much. Tawfiq is on the line. Hello, Tawfiq.
Hello, Nana.
Yes, boss.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I think people are shying away from being bold enough to say they can be good presidents. I think I can.
Good.
But the challenge is when you want to be a good president for this country, you'll be willing to die early.
Lower your radio set.
You'll be willing to die early. Because those who don't want this country to succeed will come after you. So I think, yes, I can be a good president, but just that I will not complete my term, unfortunately.
Thank you very much. 0302216541. Let me tell you a little story. Now, there was this election, and this is a true story, so I'll keep the names and dates and everything out, right? And it was going into a second term. And this party in question had literally run out of money. So a man I know, right, went and sold his hotel. Sold it. And whatever he got from the hotel, he gave to the party that, look, take it and go and try your luck. They went and they won. I mean, are you going to now come and tell this man that it's good governance? He sold his hotel. His only thing that was left that was feeding him and his family, he sold it and said, take it, go and try your luck. They went, they tried their luck, and boom. Adinafa, are you now coming to do good governance on this man? That's what I'm talking about. But Odeshia Hilda is back on the line. Hello, Hilda.
Hi.
Sorry, I think the line got messed up there.
Yes. Now I was saying that until Africa rules out religion and corruption, I don't think we will ever go forward. some of us are really praying for a conscious leader, or let's say a Pan-Africanist leader someday, and I hope that we will get one before the world comes to an end. If really there's going to be an end of the world, to stop this importation of rice and sugar and, going all around paying for arms like the IMF loan is very, very bad. Leaving debts and debts for our future leaders. Something must happen someday, and I know the universe will answer our prayers.
And I say amen to that. But it's a wonderful WhatsApp message from Jake O'Jake from the United States of Awoshi. And he says, Nana, the question is, do citizens want a good president? He says, I can't be a good president when my countrymen don't want one. Now, that's a very deep one, Jake O'Jake. That's a very deep one. But Eugene is in Akachi. Let me go to Eugene. Hello, Eugene.
Hello, Nana.
Yes, boss.
It's the same thing, different. And I always say there's only one way to break the chain. Is it that we are short of good men in our land? Is it that we are short of good politicians, people who mean well? Every 4 years we have elections and we vote in the same old people. I believe the best way to go about it is to just break the chain. Let's just get on someone totally new, just for a change. It will serve as a wake-up call for the two brothers.
Have I got you? Or you go? Oh, sorry, Eugene Akache. This one is from Nelson Advo. It says, Nana, if I become president, no one will like me, but in 100 years, they will celebrate me like a god. I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. Ben is in Dansuman. Hello, Ben.
Your call has been put on hold. Wait.
Have I still got Ben? Or Ben put me on hold? I think the line went on hold there. So I think Jake O'Jake has also put a question that I think we need to ask ourselves. Do we want a good president? Do we want good leadership? I think that's even more relevant than the question I brought. Hello, Stephen.
Yes, Nana, good evening.
Good evening, Stephen.
What kind of president will I like to be?
Would you be a good one after going through and paying monies and driving and traversing the whole country? When they hand you power, then you start good governance?
It will be a wish. Nana, that's the truth. Look, they recently had NDC Congress, that of the women and that of the youth. There were pictures of things being said there. So you ask yourself, between these two parties, did we go or did we come? We keep voting for them, and they keep repeating the same thing. Nana, 3 deputies for the standard board. What are they doing there? 3 deputies for Cocoa board. What are they doing there? I mean, Nana, it's sad. This is a country that is, budget deficits here and there, but still we are spending as if we are the kings of Dubai and the rest of this group. So for me, listen, look, we ought to go for a new party, period.
The new party will go through the same system. By the time they get there, they are also corrupt. That is the thing. You see, I don't think that the people there are necessarily not sharp or not equipped for the job. But quite now, the first with you drew or no. Yao is in Pokwase. Hello, Yao.
Nana.
Yes, Yao.
Yeah, good evening, Nana. How are you and your listeners?
Well, good. We're all good, Yao.
I've been listening, and I asked myself a natural question, and I want probably listeners to also ask that same question. Mm-hmm. You can gauge Ghana with AMA.
Mm-hmm.
AMA, the way they manage Accra, is the same situation that we have had as a nation over the years. AMA would waste and spend money and get traders off the street. After 2-3 months or less, they come back. They allow them to stay, and probably waste or disturb a lot of people who are doing genuine business. Of course, the traders are also doing business all right, but you can't ask them to be on the street. Over the years, this has always been the trend. Election will come, election year, government is always afraid to take decisive decisions. You ask, can somebody be a good president? Obviously, yes. If the person is bold, if the person is not thinking about the next election, if the person is thinking about, hey, we cannot destroy the future of this nation by allowing people to continue to engage in galamsey activities. Can we have a president who will say, for me and for my term, I don't care what the outcome of the next election will be. What I care is getting things done right. But unfortunately, you live in a society where you expect people to be bold, be honest, and tell the truth. You look at the church. The new government comes into power, and you see the church running towards the government. Somebody wants to be recognized by the government. So really, you have a society where everybody wants somebody to recognize him or her.
Thank you very much. And I said the Constitution is like a wish list, somebody's personal wish list. James is in Ashoman. Let me listen to James. Hello, James.
Yeah, good evening, Nana.
Good evening, James.
Yes. In fact, this is a very fundamental issue, I think we are dealing with now. To be a good president, well, I don't think that is the issue here. Mm-hmm. The issue is first, to get a president, we need to craft a nation. Ghana, as it is not a nation. It's a conglomerate of tribal units. Mm-hmm. You see, and we won't go far. I mean, look at what is happening even in the European Union. People are getting on Brexit and all kinds of things. Italy is, all over the place, wanting to push it through. Look at what happened to Greece and all that. You see, now Germany is having all kinds of problems. It's like, we need to craft a nation for ourselves, like the Europeans did for their, city-states. We need to have one language, we need to have one culture, and we need to have one religion if possible. And it should be African.
That's deep, and I say thank you very much. But Dramani is on the phone. Hello, Dramani.
Hello, good evening, Nana.
Good evening. Lower your set for me.
Okay, Nana, let me turn it down a bit.
Good. Dramani, you've been a president before, so now you have to tell me if you'll be a good president, man.
Nana, this is not a former president. This is a president that will come one day.
Thank you.
It's not in the distant future, though.
Cool.
There will be a president who exudes that Pan-Africanist spirit, mm-hmm. and whose leadership will be worthy of emulation throughout Africa. Nana, it's just about your good self, mm-hmm. about what you have said about spending money. The BBC, for instance, has done about 2 documentaries on the money that goes into campaigning mm-hmm. in the U.S. Presidential primaries. Mm-hmm. And the amount of money they spend, so staggering, eye-watering. But when that same thing is done in Ghana, mm-hmm. what I've seen watching the political space is that the parties that tend to spend more, they tend to lose the elections. I don't know whether you have paid close attention to that. Mm-hmm. So it's not about how much the people spend. You understand? Because, for instance, in the year 2008, our 2008 elections, the NPP spent more money than the NDC, yet the NDC won the election.
Well, because we have this trajectory where after 2 terms they realize it's the same, and then we try the next one, and then after 2 terms they realize it's the same, and after 2 terms you have a lot of money to spend. Nana,
that brings me to a question that I would like to ask you. Mm-hmm. Are you content with the status quo?
Never.
Nana, to know what to ask is to already know half. Mm-hmm. You believe in that?
Yeah.
Thank you. So you know the problems confronting this country, and I believe strongly that you know the solutions to them. Not those PAC solutions that are being rolled out day in and day out by the people who are currently steering the affairs of the country.
Well, exactly. It's just that
Nana, I'm sure if somebody of your status or stature emerges today onto the political scene, you will definitely cause some surprise.
Well, Matthew Odonko, the whole educational system is not good as it does not tackle our problems. That's from Matthew, and that's on WhatsApp. But you see, the issue I'm not necessarily blaming the personalities that have ever been president. I mean, they're sharp. Unless you haven't met them one-on-one, they're all sharp. They're just like patriots like you and I. But it's just that the things we put them through, the systems that we run, the amount of power we enshrine on one individual who's not perfect, you just literally finish the person. One person has the power to appoint and disappoint literally every human being within the country. All systems literally start and end at the presidency. Every system. And one thing that I find amusing is even NADMO. I mean, that's what Red Cross is your to no bro roofing sheet and I more and I plastic cup. That's not me. That's even that one. The president will have to decide who makes that call to bring you the roofing sheet. So I mean, that's just too much. And I'm saying that it is nearly impossible to get good leadership with that much power. Bearing in mind that before he got there, he has borrowed and asked and begged and used up most of his resources to get there. But Ben is in Dansuman. Hello, Ben.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes. This is a very thorny issue, and it is a cultural thing. That's what I see it. A typical Ghanaian, if you're going to buy something and you're very critical, reading the thing, they're going to ask you, are we a Dani, that kind of thing. That means that for you, it's like you are too critical. Everybody's buying it. Why so critical? So once you get into office, I mean, it's like a status quo. Everything else must remain the same. So I think our culture is contributing to this. And number two, looking at us, I don't think that democracy is good for us. That's a fact. Because if you look at Rwanda under Paul Kagame, now he's transforming Rwanda. He's been there for a long time. Fine. There will be some skirmishes here and there. There will be some things that will not go well because even in a democracy, people are in prison. Like in Sawam, people are there because of rule of law and all of that. So at the end of the day, democracy is not something that I think is good for us because you're going to have a party in office for 4 years. Renewable, the president can go for 8 years, but he's there for 4 years now. So what is the person going to do? The person is going to find every means possible, as you said, that your friend who sold the hotel is going to make everything possible to recoup his or her money. So at the end of the day, are we going or are we coming?
Thank you very much. Are we going? Are we coming? Ahmed Mubarak Nuhu. Nana, let's tackle our educational system from the basic level. That's the only way. Look, under this system, nobody wants you educated so that you come and ask for accountability. Nobody wants you educated under this system. Nana, I will become a good president only for one term and Ghanaians will love me for my radical changes. Kojo Ansan at Adenta Sakura. That was on WhatsApp 0244-340-437. And I have Isaac in Ashaman. Hello, Isaac.
Yeah, hello, Nana.
Yes, boss.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, thanks very much for today's topic. I want to say that, please, I hope you allow me just 1 minute to make my contribution. Because I strongly believe that even if all the agencies work against you once you become president, your common sense alone can never work against you from doing what you're supposed to do. Because people go through all means to make a coup and then stand in and do within 4 years whatever they want to do. If you could all remember, within just some 5 years back, somebody from a particular part of Ghana became a president, and with me, I strongly believe that with all the money he wasted, if he had decided to sacrifice Ghana's money for just 3 northern regions and say, okay, I'm going to forget about the rest of Ghana and focus on just the 3 regions of Ghana for future purposes, I think after the 4 years, even if the whole of the 7 regions left vote against you and vote you out, at least years later, we can all see whatever you did for that 3 regions, that which will later benefit the whole country. So for me, I think even if the systems work against you, the system won't allow you to do what you're supposed to do. The common sense alone will tell you, at least when you do this, it will be better for me and you and for our children in the future.
Thank you very much. Nana, I believe you had a few good citizens help you plant the trees and help with the stuff bringing your little republic to life. But Nana, will you allow any of them to sell the trees there? No. Will you allow your subjects to bring you down? No. Personally, the president I stood in the sun to vote for begged me, has disappointed me because he's not calling his men to order. He must crack the whip. Too many thieves amongst them. Charles Atenta. Joshua is on the phone. Hello, Joshua.
Yeah, hello, Nana. Good evening.
Good evening, Joshua.
How are you doing?
I'm good, my brother.
Yeah, I think I can be a very good president. Yeah, because I don't think I can, because the kind of ideas that I have now, and if I'm to put a simple development plan for the whole country, which for the next 15 years, each and every president or each and every party that will come on have to abide by it, I think the country will change.
Thank you very much. It's there's a WhatsApp to your answer, right? Say, Nana, I can't be a good president. There's too much talent in people who want to help develop and lead our country. But the way to get the mandate is what has kept them away in their small one corner, leaving the greedy to scramble for the mandate because of what they will get in return. So we have selfish people who don't want to sacrifice controlling affairs. With this trend, we have a long way to go. See what happens at elections. Even party elections, not to talk of the national. This is Rike in Minnesota, but right here in Cape Coast is Ebenezer. Hello, Eben.
Yes, if you can hear me. Good evening.
Good evening. I can hear you very well.
Now, ask me your question.
Will you be a good president, Ebenezer?
Of course, Nana.
Hallelujah.
But let me just try to answer your question quickly. You would agree with me that as the president, you also need the power, and the free space, to work, so that the events when you don't perform, will be able to hold you accountable. The problem with our constitution is that if you look at Article 57 clause 6, it says that civil and criminal proceedings may be instituted against you for anything you did or omitted to do, okay, in your personal capacity. Personal, not as president. That's the problem. So I'm just saying to you that you need every power, you need to be given every power, but you also have to be held accountable when you don't perform. Now, Nana, being a president doesn't mean globetrotting, okay? Where is the president? He has gone to pass the hat round. Are you with me? How is it possible that the cockroach, excuse me to say, attends a party where only fowls are special guests? And Nana, one of the first things I would do is to amend our constitution. Okay? In this country, you don't need more than 18 ministries. You don't need more than 41 ministers. I'm talking of substantive ministers and deputy ministers. And then another thing, look at Article 54.
Let me ask, do you have a plan of how you will attain this power? Do you have the money to go to North and come, thank you, tour, praise the Lord, tour, go to all the churches, the funerals, everything to get the money? Do you have the money personally?
That is another important question. Where do these people get all the money to throw around? We have to pass law, legislation, to make sure that we'll be able to track wherever and exactly where you get your money from. But I'd like to make this point for the sake of time. Look at Article 54, clauses 1 and 2, where it says that a person who wins the election is what? Sworn in, and then you go and challenge. How do we decide to create this time bomb for ourselves?
Thank you very much. Wish I had more time for you. But my good friend Nana in Spinkters, you definitely need to read Nana's message. Nana, good evening. Definitely wouldn't be a good president of Ghana. Ghanaians are ungovernable. The system is set to fail. Was in traffic this evening on the Burma Camp Road, and a taxi avoiding traffic drove on the pavement with motorcycles. The two main parties collect their monies and promise them payback times. I can't see any clear distinction. They are both borrowing. The cedi still depreciating. Impunity still continues. Nothing has changed apart from the tax on my car, classified as luxury. With an angry face, I honestly need it for the rough roads of this country. The system is set. Nana in Spinkters Road. Good evening. So there we have it. Those of you who will be good presidents, those of you who will not. My name is Nana Ansakwao. Until next Monday that I come to you with a different opinion, the award-winning NS Man who is going to give you the news bulletin. Abe Kusan Kufi was on the ones and twos.